Well, my name's Lori McGuire, and I own On Location Fitness, and I am a personal trainer. I also teach fitness classes, and that's the short answer.
So when you say personal training and fitness classes, it's specialized.
Correct.
So you're not really in a one life.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it's my own business, and I specialize in women's fitness 50 and up usually. It
Mhm.
just lands in that demographic because that's me, and I connect with those women. Um, and I just really focus on women who just need training, not the person wanting to, get buff or be in a competition. I could do that.
Mhm.
It's the people who just want to increase their, everyday quality of life, be
Right.
stronger, feel better in their skin, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's what I've learned over the years is fitness is definitely not a one size fits all.
Correct. Absolutely.
Medicine in general, but especially fitness.
Absolutely.
Um, is there's weight loss, there's aesthetic, there's longevity,
Mhm.
there's just
Mhm.
there's male, female, like it's
Right.
age
Right.
age difference. I mean, there's so much that goes into the mixing bowl of what you're
Yes.
trying to help with and what you're trying to create that is very specific.
Correct. It is specific, and, that's kind of where my niche is. It's nobody's really reaching out to women of that age group.
Hmm.
If they fall into a gym and they wanna try some training, great. But my goal is to find those women who maybe are uncomfortable in a gym atmosphere or never have worked out before. They find themselves, "Oh, I'm close to 50 or over 50, and I can barely, get into my car," or whatever it might be, or just maybe feeling, um, like they're just not as strong as they used to.
Yeah.
And those are the people I love working with because it's almost like finding themselves again or maybe finding their new normal because after 50 things happen to your body that you hear about all the time but you just don't think are going to happen to you.
Yeah.
And when they start happening you're like, "Oh no." And you feel kind of out of control of what's going on. But being strong and, flexible, having that good constitution of just a good posture, strength and fitness helps with that. Definitely changes the story on that.
Absolutely. It's longevity. Training for longevity is becoming the new, or at least in my world, maybe because I'm
Mhm.
46,
Mhm.
but maybe that this, it's becoming a buzzword on social media
Yes.
and in fitness influencers. Um, what makes training for something like that different than other areas?
Um, well, back to the specifics of it. I think, of course, personal training, if the trainer is good, they're going to really tailor the workouts for the person. But in longevity, for training for longevity, vitality, it's more of being kinder to your body,
Hmm.
not forcing your body into this pigeonhole or keyhole of what you think it should be, finding that acceptance, and then learning what your strengths and weaknesses are again, and creating goals that surround that.
Yeah.
Not trying to force your body to do something that it really isn't meant to be doing.
And going back to what we just said, where there's so many different variables, like even someone like me who was an athlete growing up,
Mhm.
worked out consistently. Um, I've got a foundation. So changing that mindset, the older I get of how
Right,
I work out
right.
is different than what I used to do when I was younger.
Yes,
Right. So because you're trying to think of a different way to work out and because you don't want to wake up the next day with back pain or knee pain
yes.
or anything like that because things tear apart and fall apart a lot easier the
Yes.
older we get. And it's the mindset part of it is what I'm learning
Mhm,
is the
mhm.
big adjustment. It's not pushing yourself to failure. It's
Yeah.
not going all in, all out, leaving where you got to crawl out of the gym
Right.
to
Right.
see improvement. Like it's a different mindset. It's a different whole framework and philosophy.
Right. Right. Yeah. And, there still are many elite athletes or elite lifters in my age group, but the vast majority of people in that demographic, that's not their mojo,
Right.
but the
And they don't want to.
right.
They're not
Right.
training for that.
Right. Right. But I think there used to be and still is a little bit this mentality of what you're talking about. People see these pictures or videos online of these people with these drastic results, which is fabulous. I mean, yay. But it's the exception usually, not the rule. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's definitely obtainable. And of course, goals, you have to have goals. But it's more about just cultivating life
Mm-hmm.
all over, through I guess what I'm trying to say, cultivating life inside out, the whole picture, not just, oh, I want to fit into the bathing suit for the summer, or I want to get into, a dress for my, daughter's wedding, which those are great goals.
Right.
It's more of the long term kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing, if you, have, fat loss or muscle growth, whatever the thought might be, or the why of why you're training or working out, those are all great. But my philosophy is let's just take you where you're at and just get stronger. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just build a solid program that progressively assesses your wins and move forward. And hey, you're going to automatically feel better in your clothes. You're going to move better. And it just affects your whole life, it
Yeah.
affects your mental
Oh, it does.
state. And I think the healthier you are in your mind, that all ties into spirituality. And I just see it as like a holistic piece.
That part doesn't, I don't think gets talked about enough.
Hmm.
And I definitely don't want to make this about me, but I do have a personal experience
You
with
have
this.
history. Yeah. You
Right.
know the industry. So,
Well, not just the industry, but like over the past 2 years, I've lost 200 pounds,
yeah.
and the confidence that I have now
Hmm.
is not just about looking better.
Correct.
It's the confidence that really I've noticed over the past few months that has been a game changer for me.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and even I asked my wife the other day, I was like, because I asked her, I was like, look, be honest, you won't hurt my feelings. And I asked her opinion about the change in now and how I was. And she said, it's not just how you look. I mean, you look a lot better,
Right.
but you're more confident now.
Yeah. That's
And to
awesome.
me, that's more attractive than how you look.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And from a female perspective,
Mhm,
I do hear that a lot.
mhm,
Not
mhm.
about me,
Right.
to be clear,
Right. I know what you're saying. You find that
but women find that more attractive.
correct.
Right.
Correct. Yeah.
And so, we were at a wedding back around Christmas, and somebody that I'd known for years, he made a point to pull me aside and was like, this is the first time I've seen you stand up and say, I'm here.
Yeah. That's
And
yeah.
he's like, that's the person I've been waiting to see.
That's
And like,
amazing.
to me,
Right.
that's a whole different,
Yes. Yes.
a whole different thing than just setting a goal to lose weight and hitting a number on a scale.
Mhm.
That's the
Mhm.
internal part that makes a difference,
Yes, absolutely.
and and there's been things over the past few months that I've been able to do that I haven't before,
Yeah.
or at least in a long time,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Like flying on an airplane
Yeah. Oh, cool.
or buy clothes at American Eagle, just walk in the store and buy clothes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've always had to order them or
Wow.
go to casual mail,
Wow.
right? So it's like things that most people take for granted
Mhm.
as everyday life.
Mhm. Yes.
So
Well,
it's that kind of stuff that I don't think those stories get told. And that's why I wanted to share it's not just the
Yes.
importance of losing weight.
Mhm, mhm.
It's that feeling of you've done something.
Right. Well, to your point, I'm glad that you brought that up because it's true. As you age, the things that you could do when you were younger, you did take for granted,
100%.
and as you age, it's not the same, but sort of,
Mhm.
it's and when you're able to help somebody obtain those things again, being able to squat down with their, grandkids or, move a small piece of furniture or just not be exhausted at the end of the day. It's the same thing. It's that confidence in life, that
Mhm.
vitality that they're like, "Okay, I don't need to just find my recliner and waste away and watch TV. I can still live life. I can still be strong." And that's what really excites me about my work.
Absolutely. And what I'm seeing more of now is that, well, not more of now, but I'm hearing more about it, is the older we get, and even older than me, but starting now, the older we get, the more of a muscular foundation that you have.
Mhm.
That's what makes longevity.
Yes.
That's what brings longevity because you're able to move,
Yes.
you have the energy to move,
Mhm.
and once you become more sedentary and stationary,
Mhm.
that's when life declines.
Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. The muscular, your muscular build, it houses your bones
Mhm.
and it just it creates a good infrastructure, instead of just kind of building, a tower with no attachments that easily can be knocked over. It actually has those strong attachments and
Mhm.
can, move better and just help you live life better.
Yeah. Well, now that we've jumped into that deep end real quick, let's back up a little bit. So, what I found in doing some research is
Mhm.
that before you got into fitness, you spent 33 years, if that number's right, in
That's right.
healthcare.
That's right. Mhm.
Talk to me about that. So, how did you get started there? What's your background?
Okay. So, when I was in college, I was paying for it myself, and I was like, "I gotta find something quick because it's too expensive and too difficult to not know what I'm doing."
No joke.
So, I took a class that was, kind of like, um, a research class of what careers I would fit into.
Hmm.
And so, the healthcare was one of them, and, um, I ended up choosing X-ray technology. So that's where my background landed, and I chose that because it's moving around. You're not in behind a desk, and it's also helping people.
Yeah.
Of course, I was young, didn't know what I didn't know, and it is not an easy career. It's definitely challenging, which is good. Um, so I did that the better part of my life, all different facets. Started in general radiography, worked in the OR, the ER, special procedures. I was in management, and then probably about halfway through my career, I landed in mammography. That's where I spent most of my time. I also worked at a cancer center and worked as a patient navigator. So, through the span of 33 years, lots of experience, lots of different roles, good career, especially raising a family. It was very flexible, but healthcare changed drastically over 33 years, and I was I was tired. I was
Yeah.
tired of that pace. In my last year, I spent patient facing. I was no longer in a desk job. And that was the first time I was patient facing probably in about 4 years, and I was amazed at how quickly how the pace changed. And maybe it was my perspective because I was a little older, but um it's a rat race. It's a rat race. And I didn't feel like I could really care for my patients. It was all about time and numbers. And I was also creating the side hustle while I was working full time. So I was teaching group fitness classes, also training sometime morning hours, working my real job, then training afterwards. And I did that for about 2 years. Um, and I finally just said one day to my husband, I'm burnout. I can't do this. I'm going to have to choose one or the other. And I think I'm going to have to choose my career because, that's where the money, that's our life, our vitality or our financial wellness. And he didn't say anything. And then the next morning he said, because this was in fall, he's like, "Can you just make it to the end of the year and then we'll jump off that cliff and see what happens." So we did, and that's where On Location Fitness was born. And that was, I think, 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, and I've been slowly building since, I was very blessed in the beginning. It was like I kind of told the community what I was doing, and I had clients, not a million, not anything that's going to break records, but enough.
Yeah.
And then about a year and a half in, through attrition, people move, people decide they're going to do something different. I kind of hovered for about a year, year and a half. And in the past couple months, I've been creating traction again. So I'm still learning with the ebbs and flows of my own business.
Hmm.
Um, but I'm very excited and encouraged that I'm, in this growth stage again because like I was spoiled at the beginning. I worked hard. I made it happen, don't get me wrong, but I didn't have to hunt and scratch for clients,
Hmm.
and I never wanted to be the salesperson, out there pitching and, selling things to people that they don't really aren't interested in. I try to seek those clients who just they really want somebody to come alongside them and train with them,
Yeah.
um, not somebody who sees a video on social media of this perfect body and says, "Hey, can you help me do this in 3 months?" Um, so when I got to that plateau, I was like still enjoying what I was doing, but I'm like, yeah, I'm just kind of, I need to to have
Yeah.
some more clients. So like I said, I'm back in that growth stage and it feels good. It feels really good. I don't know what next steps are, as far as where will I be in 3 years? I don't know, but I just keep working at it. I'm learning my business, just like I, had to learn my craft early on, and I'm still learning.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we all are.
yeah.
I mean, if you know, the best business owners and the best entrepreneurs, and the best leaders are the ones that are constantly educating themselves and learning.
Mhm.
Because the sooner we realize we don't know everything,
Yes.
the
Yeah.
the sooner our world gets better.
Yes, that is very true, very true. And I love to learn but you still that human side of you can creep in sometimes,
Sure.
You feel like you're in that comfort zone, you're moving along, and then something happens that you realize, okay, I need to reevaluate. I need to, you know, maybe find new ways of doing things
Hmm.
or be open to evaluating why something didn't work and making strides to figure out what will work better.
Right. Well, and two, not just that, and learning about yourself and different coaching cues and coach and ways to coach
Mhm.
and the psychology of it, but also just like in medicine, there's always like new studies coming out.
Yes.
So you
Yes.
got to stay on top of that as well.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
there's always this study and the opposite study on
Right.
the same problem, and they're completely different. So you have to figure out which one is right,
Right.
and which can be confusing.
Yes.
And then you battle. I assume you battle. Well, I saw this on TikTok. Can I do this? Or I heard this works on TikTok,
Oh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
right? And
Yes.
so I'm
Yes.
sure you battle that too.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, there's so much information out there, which is gray area compared to if it's accurate or not,
Right.
but it's not the whole story.
Right. Well, and I think maybe subconsciously I, that's one of the reasons why I started training myself because there was so much information. It was
Hmm.
like just inundation of like what, overwhelming
Hmm.
where do I start? And so then sometimes you get that paralysis of, I don't know where to start, so I'm just going to not do it, you know? But learning the craft of personal training helped me weed through that. And I'm still weeding through it. And I think I will forever be weeding
Hmm.
through it
Sure.
because there is always just a influx of information. But I like that. I like picking out the real stuff and figuring, maybe trying something new. And like there's not a ton of stuff that's new. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's all moving your body
Hmm.
and understanding how a person moves, what their strengths and weaknesses are. But it's kind of fun to see um, the creative twists people come up with
Right.
on how to do it.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, if you really want to simplify, and correct me if I'm wrong, but if you really want to just simplify it, move more than you eat
Yes. Yes.
and do that every day.
Yes.
At the end of the
Yes.
day, it is that simple,
It is.
but there's,
To keep a healthy weight, which is the gate opener to a lots of other health benefits. But, as you age, you still need more. You know what I mean? If I have a client who is, she inspires me every day. Every day I work with her. And she's an ex Olympic athlete and she's 78 now.
wow.
She does everything I ask my younger clients to do, and she blows my mind. Um, but having said that, she wanted somebody to help her train. She probably knows more about training than I will ever know. But her life focus is different now. She's a
Hmm.
grandmother.
Right.
She's, um, taking care of herself aging, which takes more work. And just having somebody there to help her walk through that walk, understand who she is, and hold her accountable to that, and is really what she needed, and to focus on the aging aspects of it. That's where I was going
Yeah.
with the healthy weight because she's a healthy weight. She walks, she eats healthy, but she still was seeing a decline in her muscle mass, um, and she in her strength.
Hmm.
And so she needed a leg up. She needed a leg up on that. She's like, I've been taking care of myself my whole life, but I need to be stronger. So,
So, backing up a little bit, what made you decide to take the leap off the cliff?
um, quality of life, quality of life, but also because I feel like I'm called to do it. I honestly, truly
Mm.
feel like I'm gifted in that area in connection with women. I'm a natural encourager. I feel like those are spiritual gifts of mine. And I think I just was blessed with good genes. I mean, my dad was strong as can be. I never,
And that matters.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, listen, genetics do matter.
It does.
People
It does.
don't want to believe that, but it really does.
Yes, yes. And he was strong as anything. I never saw him work out in a day, but that
Hmm.
man was strong as a horse. And so I just all of my siblings too were just strong. And so I felt like I wanted to use all of um, those spiritual gifts for something good, to help people really build something good in their life.
Hmm.
I mean, not make the extreme change, which if that happens, great, but just somebody who can meet you right where you're at and like, let's just do real life and let's make workouts that are real,
Yeah.
that makes sense for you. You're not going to go run a triathlon, which, of course, I can train somebody to do that, but it's just somebody who is the average person that just wants somebody to come alongside them and share their knowledge so that they can, just have a good workout,
Yeah.
do what they need to do.
What's your why?
Um, well, I think that question is very close to the question that you just asked me. My why is um, to use my gifts.
Yeah.
To it's important that's very important to me because through all the growth I've done in my life and understanding those spiritual gifts are given to you and you should use them for good things. Um, And I love doing it. I mean, I almost feel guilty that I get to do something that I love so much because it really doesn't feel like work, you
Yeah.
know? I'm working hard, but, in some ways harder than I did when I was in healthcare, but, it's not as taxing on me emotionally, you
Yeah.
know? It just comes a little more naturally. It just feels like this is what I can do, you know?
That's amazing. Like it's good to have that feeling
It is.
that you're in the right spot.
I'm very, very blessed, very blessed. Um,
Yeah.
so
It's it you get tested a lot.
yes,
Like that feeling gets tested a whole lot.
it does.
But
It does because,
it's
I
it's it's
think
it, it- it's easier to get past those tests
mhm,
when you know that you're in the right spot.
yes. Well, and every once in a while I'll start to think, "Well, maybe I need to, do something I know I can make more money at," or maybe, if I just worked, in healthcare for a couple of days, I'd had more time off, or all these things. But then the Lord always shows me something, "Nope, this is where you're supposed to be."
Yeah.
And it's a great feeling, and, I just have to remember as long as I focus on that piece, I'm doing this because I'm called to do it,
Mm-hmm.
He'll provide a way, and when
100%.
it's time for me to maybe take steps to do something different, uh, He'll lead me there,
Yeah.
so
100%. I completely agree with that. What um what is your if you have because you have a very defined niche
mhm,
on who you work with.
mhm.
Tell me more about that.
So, women 50 and up, um, people, who I mean, really that's very broad, women 50 and up, but then people who, don't wanna go to the gym, women who don't feel comfortable in that space or don't know how to work out. And one of my favorite clients, I met her at her house, and she was just I just remember walking in and thinking, she really is a sad person, not from a judgment standpoint, but from a like heartfelt, how can I help you?
Yeah.
She was like, I don't like working out. I don't really like how I feel in my body. And I've tried different things, the gym, I've tried, the CrossFit, the burn boot camps, and she's like, I just, left one of those places in tears. And so that whole I think I spent a year and a half with her working out. That whole transformation that I got to witness was I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Not only did her body change, but her whole mindset changed in her life and around working out. Now she goes and works out on her own at a HIIT gym. And she's
Wow.
a little younger than my normal demographic, um, but that's a win for me. I
Yeah.
was so excited, and I check in with her, and she's like, "Yep, believe it or not, I can do, X amount of push-ups, and, you're in my head every day, how to do a bicep curl right," and, so
That's
that
great.
makes me so happy.
Yeah. That's impact,
So
right? I mean that's leaving an impact on people.
so,
I love that.
well, yeah, I mean, it's not me, yes, I think you're right, and I'm very blessed to be a part of it. So,
What do you think you're called to do in this industry, in this community for the future?
um I mean, I think it's a very much behind the scenes kind of community work that I do, it is, but it isn't. I
Hmm.
mean, you have to put yourself out there in social media. You have to make sure people know you're there. But it's not like I'm in front of groups of people, leading a group of people to do, to build a house for
Hmm.
Habitat for Humanity or anything like that. But I feel like I'm making a difference one client at a time, um, creating that strength and vitality for quality of life. And I think that is a catalyst for them to be positive in the
Hmm.
community as well.
Yeah.
So.
Talk to me about the trifecta model.
So that's just really where I can offer, 3 different training spaces. I can train people virtually, they never have to leave their house. I can come to their location, whether it's their house or a park or their yard. Um, and I also have a studio option
Mhm.
now. So, they can meet me at the studio if they want to train in person, but they don't want to be at their house or outside. Um, so it really covers every possible training form outside of the gym.
Yeah. And I think that's very unique, and it's also very valuable because a lot of people, I can speak for myself, and I would assume women might be the same, if not worse sometimes, are uncomfortable going to the gym.
Yes, absolutely.
So having that option of staying home and
Mhm.
working out and
Mhm.
still getting a very valuable, beneficial workout in
Mhm.
is a great option.
Absolutely. Yeah. It that and for me, it's powerful that back to the confidence, conversation. It's powerful when they gain that confidence,
Hmm.
because once they get stronger and they get that habit of working out, it's a life change because they're slowly changing their life habits. Um, they kinda wanna seek out more,
Yeah.
or change or do more, and so if I can help somebody build the strength and the confidence to get into a gym and work out, that's huge.
Yeah. Cause it's not just about what you look like.
Mhm, mhm.
No one wants to go wandering around not knowing what to do.
Exactly. Well, you feel like all eyes are on you
You do.
in the gym,
You do.
and I'm an experienced, person in the gym, but there are sometimes, a piece of equipment, I don't know if I've seen that before, and you're just like, and I get a little self-conscious,
Hmm.
so somebody who has no clue about a gym, um, especially if it's, a gym that is male and female. It's a different dynamic for a woman who doesn't know what they're doing to go in there, and try to work out. It's
It's
intimidating.
it is, and it's fear of judgment.
Mhm. Yeah. For sure. For
It's
sure.
definitely a big fear of judgment, which can be tough,
Yes.
male or
Yes.
female. I mean,
Yeah.
that's no one wants to be judged like that
Right.
because your
Right.
confidence is already low,
Yes.
and you don't want
Yes.
people to call out what you're self conscious about,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
Um, yeah, that's just a great. That's a very. Do you also help people who travel?
Yes. So if some of my clients that I meet in person, if they are in business or sometimes vacation, we can still train because I have a virtual studio, so we can still get our workouts in,
Yeah,
um, which is really unique.
absolutely. So yeah, because my wife travels 3 at least 3 days a week
Mhm.
out of state.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so it's tough for her to get to a gym and go work out because of that. And
Right.
there's hotel gyms.
Right.
There's stuff you can do in your room with bands and all
Yes.
kind of stuff that
Yes.
you can
Yeah.
be creative with.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I do that often. Train people. I'm like, okay, take your bands with you, or we'll just do a body weight workout, or we'll do a shorter workout, and they'll like go down to the gym in the hotel and kind of video what they have, and I'm like, okay, do this, this, and this, and let me know how it went. And now a client of mine, she's, a business executive, and she said, "I would never even think about going into the hotel gym." She's like,
Mhm.
"First of all, I'm working, I'm not gonna go in the gym." But now she's like, "I love that I have the confidence to walk into the gym, the hotel gym, and know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
So that's a win for me too.
Once you start doing it and you start seeing progress,
Mhm.
you start making it a priority.
Yeah. Right. Right. And, it just becomes part of who you are, just like any other habit you have in your day,
Hmm.
you know?
Yeah, that's a great word is the habit.
Mhm. Mhm.
And because there's times when I've not gone to the gym in a while and I'll start going again, not trying to kill myself,
Yes.
but just I showed up.
Right. Yeah.
I'm gonna show up 2 more times this week.
Yeah.
and I'm just going to show up. And I mean, I get a good workout in, but I'm not tracking things. I'm not writing things
Yes.
down.
Yes.
I follow my plan.
Staying consistent.
It's consistent
Mm-hmm.
because at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, just showing up and being consistent puts you in about the top 5%
Correct.
of people out there.
Yes. Yes.
If you do it long enough, you're going to be healthier.
Right. Right. And you know, hopefully you get to the space of, it takes years and years of that, habit memory or whatever, even if you have to stay away from the gym because you're sick or, have the flu. That recently happened to me. Had terrible flu beginning of the year, couple weeks out.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember walking in the gym and I was like, "Oh, this feels so good."
Yeah.
I was like, instead of dreading it,
Right.
I couldn't wait to get back to the gym. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are days when I'm like, I really just want to stay warm in my house and not leave, or I just don't, I just showered. I don't want to go get sweaty again. So there's all the things that go through a person's mind. I still have that, but I'm at a place in my life now where the gym is once I get I just wanna be there.
The amount of excuses we can come up with to not go to the gym.
Exactly.
I mean, you talking about being creative. I can get real creative on days. I'm just like, you know what?
I know.
We can really come up with,
Yes,
with some good excuses.
that is so true.
But
So
yeah,
true.
it's the habit and it's the discipline of the habit.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it's a lifestyle change. Lifestyle
Yeah,
change.
it is. And I'm going through a real big kick right now on self leadership.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, there's a lot of stuff online and a lot of stuff out there about leadership and leading a team, and this is called local leaders.
Mhm.
But if we can't lead ourselves,
Yes.
we can't lead anybody else.
That is so true. So
Even starting
true.
at home, like I can't lead my
So true.
family
Mhm.
if I
Mhm.
can't lead myself.
Yes.
And there's a fine line. I think there's a difference between self leadership and discipline,
Mhm.
but there's a fine line there. But it does kind of bump up against it. Maybe
Yes.
it's the same side or the two sides of the same coin
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
thing. But you got to lead yourself,
Mhm.
and leading yourself executes that discipline. We
Yes.
had the discipline.
Right.
Once you build it, you have it, but you got to lead yourself to it.
Yes.
And so I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah.
in my head it does.
I no, I get yeah, no, it does make sense. Yeah, it's just creating, those habits and you have to have that discipline in the beginning because it doesn't come natural.
No.
So it's you got to use those tools, whatever it may be, put it on your calendar, hire a trainer, whatever it is. You have to have um, those tools in place, whatever habit it is. Um, and it's something you have to consciously think about and do, and just do it whether you want to or not.
Yeah.
But then eventually, once it becomes a habit, you kind of miss it if it's not there. You're like, oh, yeah, I have to do this today. So,
I put it on my calendar. It's I treat working out, whether it's at the gym or at home on my treadmill. I do something like it's part of my job.
hmm
And
hmm
how I treat owning my own business is if I don't do my job, I would fire me.
yeah, yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Right. And so I treat my job I take
hmm
what I'm supposed to do that day very seriously
Yeah,
for that
that's a
reason.
really good way to look at it.
And it's on my calendar,
Yeah,
and I live and die by my calendar.
yes, I
So
think we all do. We
yeah,
have to
we,
these
we,
days.
we have to, especially as entrepreneurs and business
Yes,
owners, like you have to.
yes.
Like I have my day. If people want to schedule a meeting with me, they only get a block
hmm
because
hmm
my calendar's blocked off
hmm
on like everything, whether it's working out,
Yep.
personal time with my wife and son.
hmm
I make sure I block that out.
hmm
And this is way off topic, but it goes back to it.
Right.
But like I block off when I work on my content, when I'm working on client content,
Mhm.
and I keep it the same time every day.
Mhm.
And I only set meetings
Mhm.
for a certain block.
Yeah.
Now, if because of that, like I can be flexible if they're like, okay, that it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Those times don't work.
Right.
I can move things around.
Of course.
But if someone signed up on my calendar,
Mhm.
then those blocks are open.
Yeah.
But I say all that to say that I heard one time, and it makes so much sense, that you can tell what's a priority to you by looking at your bank account and your calendar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if fitness and health isn't a priority to you, if you don't
Mhm.
schedule it,
Mhm. Yeah.
you will
Everything.
always find a way out of it.
Yes, everything else will come before it. It's just anything you want to, as a priority, you got to put it on
It has to be.
the calendar or your list of things to do for sure. For sure. Yes, and it's true. If you look at somebody where somebody spends their time and money, you'll know
Hmm.
where what's important to them.
Right. And, if it's for me, it was wanting to get healthier, but it's also like it really kicked because I went years of, up and down on a diet,
Mhm.
off a diet,
Mhm. Mhm.
years of doing that. And, but it wasn't until my son was born, I was like, okay,
Yeah,
you
need to
know,
be healthy. Yeah.
because I joked that because I was 44 when he was born.
Yeah.
And I would joke, and I really was joking, saying that, well, man, I just hope I make it to his graduation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the more I said that as a
You're
joke,
really doing the math
the
and
more it really sunk in.
yeah. Yeah.
And it was like, okay.
Mhm. Well, I think what's cool, the more that you share about your story is, you know, your health changed your life, and that's really kind of
Mhm.
what I'm trying to do or help people do. I mean, because I'm not doing it, people are doing the hard work.
They
Um,
have to.
right,
I mean, you're their guide,
right.
but they have to hit that, whether it's rock bottom
Yes, yes.
or whatever it is for them,
Yep.
they have to have that in here
Mhm. Yep.
to make it that priority.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. But you know, you kind of you're an excellent example of somebody who, knew you had to get healthier, and the byproducts of that were you like how you look, you like your confidence,
Mhm.
you like how you feel in your skin. And I think when people marry up those two ideas, that's the real stuff, because if you're constantly chasing that vanity, it's an empty reward.
Yeah.
If you just like, oh, I like what I see in the mirror, but you don't ever make that connection of how your physical body is tied to so much more, because your mind, your spirit, your body, those are all three things that should work healthy together, and you shouldn't have one out of balance,
Mhm.
you know?
Completely. It definitely starts, I think, with most people, a vanity thing
Mhm. Mhm.
and aesthetics, but the other stuff keeps you going.
Yeah. I think that's one of the things that is like a dichotomy about the whole social media
Mhm.
thing with fitness industry,
Mhm.
because it can get unhealthy, people just watching these videos over and over and searching for that perfect body. But the social media makes it very easy for people to get information. But I think that ugliness of vanity, I think that social media is a very um, easy place
Mhm.
for that to
Well,
be misguided.
for 25 years, vanity was my goal. That was my why,
Mhm.
and it never stuck.
Mhm. Yeah.
But when that why became deeper
Mhm.
and more personal,
Yeah.
it did.
Yeah.
I
That's an
mean,
awesome story
and
too.
and and it was still a big factor in it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would be lying if I said it wasn't.
Mhm.
But the why became deeper, and then the more I got into it, and the more it just kept always having to buy new clothes and just having that confidence slowly starting to grow. Those feelings became the driver, and
Mhm.
it kept me
Mhm.
going.
Mhm.
And it
Mhm.
wasn't just the aesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, funny, that your son kind of was the driver for that to make it stick. Kids will do that,
Hmm.
you know. Um, I remember when my husband and I were um, getting ready to have a family, I was searching for something. I knew something was missing, and this is off topic too, but I'm just gonna feel like I should
Hey,
mention it.
I do it. I've done it this whole time. So jump right on in.
But, I started, seeking relationship with the Lord. I mean, it was missing in my life. I had, slight interaction with church as a younger person, was a Christian, but never really practiced. And um, that made me search. And so I sought it out. And I got into a church where I started to grow in my faith. And my husband grew up Christian as well, not having it, had a bad experience in church. He's like, but long story short, the whole point is having kids did that for me.
Yeah.
And without that relationship, that I was able to cultivate and find again, that relationship with Christ, I don't know where I would be today.
Hmm.
Where my kids would be. Where would my marriage be? So the kids, and I do think it's part of the miracle of life that the Lord gives us kids because it changed my life. It changed my life.
They do.
And my husband came back to the church and we raised our kids in the church, and it's been an important part of our life, an important part to be a part of that community.
Hmm.
And you know he's provided through that.
Yeah. Kids have the tendency to do that.
Yes, yes. So when you were saying that about, that was your why for that, I mean, that was a big change for me too. Kids will do that.
Yeah, they will. They definitely will. If you could change one thing about how the fitness industry, this is kind of a hard pivot out of that,
Mhm.
but I want to land the plane a little bit. Um, if you could change one thing about how the fitness industry talks to or treats women over 50,
Mm.
what would that be?
Um, I would say, create more space for women who are in that demographic. Which I really feel like it's that industry is starting to push through that a little bit. But to create a healthy space where women feel comfortable, and it's more about functionality
Hmm.
than vanity.
Hmm.
Um, because let's be honest, once you become 55, your vanity is you're holding on tight to vanity. It's going fast,
Well, you
So
don't care anymore.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, you really don't like. The older I get, the more I understand my grandmother a lot more
Yes,
because she
yes.
would just always just say things that were just very direct because she didn't care.
Right. Your tolerance level for nonsense goes down.
Quick,
Yeah.
quickly. And
Yes.
so, yeah, I mean, so as
Uh,
far as the vanity part, like I think the older we get, the more
mhm.
less of a priority that is,
Yeah.
and our priorities shift
Yes.
on certain things.
Yes. So I don't know if I answered your question, but did that make
It
sense?
did.
Okay,
It
all
did.
right.
So, what would you say to somebody 50 and up, or even maybe starting younger,
Mhm.
if they think it's too late for them to start?
Absolutely not. Never too late to start, because you can get stronger and build, muscle, you know, flexibility at any age,
Hmm.
no matter where you're at. Um, you can still get stronger.
Yeah.
I've had, women, one of my clients now, she's in her late 70s. She had a stroke in her 50s, and she's still getting stronger. I've been working with her for a long time. She's still building strength. I mean, does she have deficits? Of course, but she's stronger now, and her fear of falling, or, her confidence in her abilities to be able to do certain things with her grandkids or just around the house has increased.
Hmm.
Um, so it's never too late.
That's
Never
amazing.
too late.
No, it's not. It's not. That's amazing. So, let's put a bow on it. There's one final question I ask, but before I get to that, if someone's watching
Mhm.
and they're where you were, having a day job, wanting to start
Mhm.
their own business, but something wasn't right, and they knew they weren't in the right spot.
Mhm.
What would you say to that person?
I would say, um, don't rush into it. Sit in that for a while. Do some real, work on looking at what your strengths are. What do you feel called to do? Pray about it. Um, and if it's a good idea today, a long time of research and reflection, it's gonna be a good idea in a year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if it's still a good idea, have the courage to do it.
Yeah, that's great advice, and that's what I should do a lot of times. But
Mm.
to my wife's extreme frustrations, I never do that.
Right.
Um, I'm always,
Uh,
if I had the thought and I think it's a good idea, let's go,
yes.
and I'm all in.
Yes. I have been like that in the past too, and my husband's kind of the gatekeeper on that.
That's how
And
my wife is.
with this, it was a little bit different, you know what I mean? I had this, fire burning inside of me about this business for a long time. But I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna fly in our house. That's not gonna go. I'm gonna have to just keep working, making money and doing what I'm doing, keep it, keep our flow going where we're at.
Was it a confidence thing on your part?
Um, I mean, somewhat.
Yeah.
Uh, I wasn't afraid to take a risk. But yeah, I mean, I was like,
Am I
there
good enough?
yes, can I do it?
Yeah.
There's gonna be things I know nothing about. But because, my husband's that gatekeeper, I mean, before I even brought it up, it was years and years of me thinking about
Hmm.
how can I make this successful? What would it look like? Um, and I just started to take small steps, you know?
Yeah.
Um, I got certified as a personal trainer, worked at it for a couple of years, got better in my craft, started kind of asking questions to other, you know, people who I consider mentors. Well, how do you open an LLC? How much does it cost?
Hmm.
And then I just slowly started, creating those lists and those, um, you know, kind of like a map. And finally, I had the courage to say, "Hey, I wanna do this,"
Yeah.
because, I didn't wanna let my husband down either, I didn't wanna be like, "Hey, I wanna do this," and it's just like some kind of, fly by night idea that I might crash and burn in months, So, it was a growth experiment for myself
Yeah.
too, having that self control and the wherewithal to, "Hey, I'm gonna really plan this out and think about it and make sure it's not something, um, that I just wanna go charge for," because I'm kinda that way. I'm like, "Hey, it's an idea, I'll do it. I'll dig in, I'll get my hands, dirty and do the work," and I'm like, "Oh, it didn't work. It's okay, let's change directions." My husband is not that way.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. It's me and my wife are. It's funny because when we first got together, we were polar opposites,
Mhm.
and I feel like the more we're together, the more we're not the same, but closer together we are on this.
Mhm. You're kinda coming
Yeah.
each other's way, yeah.
Yeah. Like she's made a comment the other day about how more direct I am
Mhm.
because that was all her. And she goes, I feel like now you've gotten to be more of that person than I am now. I'm like, I don't know about that, but appreciate it. But
Yeah.
like she's always been the realist and I'm the dreamer.
Mhm, mhm,
And there's times when I'll just need to talk things out
mhm.
because in my head, every idea or business idea or whatever I have is $1 million idea,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But sometimes I have to talk it out
Mhm, mhm.
to someone, and she's always good because she pokes holes in it.
Yes.
Sometimes directly
Mhm.
and aggressively, but she's
Oh,
she is that way, and it's
yes.
like I've needed that
Yes.
because I've got myself into trouble a lot by
Mhm.
just, oh, this is a good idea, let's go. And I don't do it halfway. Like I drop everything. I burn the boats and I go all in. And hardly any of those have worked out. And you would
That's
think
funny.
that I would learn, but I don't.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but yeah, she's real good at doing that. But now, and I was asking her, I'm like, why can't you just support my ideas?
Mhm. That's funny.
Just support me.
Yeah.
Because when she hasn't, you know, I'm because in her defense, when she brings something up to me, she has spent time thinking about it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that when she does bring it up, she's already been percolating it.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm always the one that's like, hey, that's a great idea. Let's figure out how to make it work.
Yeah. That's good.
Not,
That's good.
have you thought about this or this or
Right.
this? It's, okay,
Right.
cool.
Yes.
Let's make it happen. What's it going to take?
Yeah.
But she's already thought about it.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, and I think that's what's different about was different about this business ventures because we talk through our, throughout our whole relationship. I come up with some ideas. Oh yeah, we should do that as a business. Like he made this really good bean dip and I'm like, we should do boil in a bag frozen bean dip, just silly things. He's like, yeah, he'll go along with it. And then when it starts to get real, he's like, we're not doing
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
so having that, process, resurface over and over in our relationship, I think what was different about this one is that I did take time and looking back in retrospect now, um, I think that because it was so important and I did feel called, I felt like it was the real deal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I I didn't want to pull the trigger or even say anything until I was 1,000% sure
Yeah.
that this is what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I was gonna take it to the hill and, I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna die on the hill with it. And also different perspective in my life too. I truly do feel called. I feel like I'm using my gifts and, that whole perspective I think makes a big difference. So,
It does.
mhm,
It does. Um, I love what I do here. Um, I know that this is where I'm supposed to be,
mhm,
but I'm definitely called for something different.
mhm, mhm,
Um, and I've already had that conversation with my wife
mhm,
about it.
mhm.
Um, and I knew the questions she was going to ask me, so I came prepared.
Yeah.
I made sure I had that
Yeah.
list out.
Yeah.
Um, it's still doing this, but
Mhm. Right. Like
it's
a
a
different aspect.
variation. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but it's yeah, I'm excited about it, and it's definitely one of those things where it's you feel a peace about it.
Yeah, that's great.
There's a
Yeah,
peace, and I think you
yes.
felt that same way.
I did. I did. I just, um, it was almost, for lack of a better word, surreal as things started to unfold. It was almost like this excitement, but not surprise.
Hmm.
You know? It was
Hmm.
like, this is so cool that this is actually happening, but I
Yeah,
wasn't surprised. It
yeah,
was like not that,
expected.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm. So,
So the last question I always have is, and I want you to have complete freedom, go anywhere you want to with it. Okay.
okay.
What do you want people to say about your contribution to this community 10 years from now?
I would love if when they thought of, my contribution that I, walk the walk, I was authentic, and the work that I did made an impact on people's quality of life.
I love that.
So,
I lo- First of all, you hit a very touchy part with me when you say impact. Like that's it,
yeah.
an impact.
So, um, because, like I started to say earlier, it is kind of a behind the scenes kind of thing that I'm doing. I'm
Hmm.
not standing up and giving, motivational speeches or, leading large groups of people at a time. But that one person who feels better in their skin is going to be um, more prepared to have positive influence on our community.
Hmm.
So, I think that's important.
And that's legacy,
Mm.
right? That's when, if you impact one person enough that they spread it out,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's making an
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah, I absolutely think so. It's just like that little ripple effect.
Yeah,
Um, so
absolutely. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming by.
well, thank you for inviting
Of
me.
course, I was very excited to hear your story and let everybody else hear your story as well.
Well, I appreciate that, and thanks.
Where can everybody find you?
They can find me on onlocationfit.com. Um, from there, on my website, they can, email me, or I'm on Facebook, Instagram, OLF by Lori, Lori McGuire on Facebook. Um, the that's where they find me.
Awesome. Well, go check her out. And if you're interested in getting fit and healthy, doing things
Yes.
the right way,
Yes. Yes. The
give her a
right way.
call.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Lori.
All right.